the president and to challenge the president and to challenge Congress to deliver a clearer plan to break our addiction to oil and coal. You know, what we need is a combination of the individual actions like what Amory has been doing for so many years. And Amory, I'd love to live in your house and eat your bananas right now. And there are millions of Americans who can start to make very similar investments in energy efficiency in their own homes or advocate for it in their own businesses or within their own towns. But then what we also need to do is we need to organize collectively to create more systemic change, to allow for us to create more jobs, to cut pollution, and to increase energy security through statewide and nationwide policies. To give a couple examples, in Louisiana right now, the state legislature is considering its first renewable energy standard. So it'll be the first bill in the state of Louisiana that will actually accelerate the development of clean energy. And it doesn't have enough support yet. It doesn't have enough support yet to actually go through. It's one of the lowest goals. It's about, I think right now they're talking about a 12.5% standard for clean energy in the state of Louisiana. And it still doesn't have enough support in the state legislature. So people in the state of Louisiana and others can help to finance a clean energy campaign in the state and to accelerate the development in a state that needs it more than any other. Right now, I think we have about 27 or 28 states around the country that have some standard to increase the pace of clean energy development. We should have all 50. We should have a standard of going to 20% clean energy by 2020, 30% by 2025, and increase the pace by which we're phasing out of coal, phasing out of oil, and increasing investments in both efficiency and solar and wind.
And yet President Obama is not even at cutting offshore drilling at this point. I mean, you have the Atlantis oil rig that is actually, it dwarfs Deepwater Horizon. It's run by BP and has tremendous number of problems, whistleblowers from within over the years. Yet most people don't even know it's continuing in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, you know, when you talk to campaigners about the challenge of transitioning to clean energy, the metaphor that a lot of people use is we have to turn the supertanker around. And, you know, right now, you know, to turn the supertanker around, you have to crank the wheel. You got to crank the wheel. And so right now what we're seeing is, you know, maybe the boat is turning around, but we're seeing the Obama administration doing a couple different things. On the one hand, they talk about expanding offshore oil drilling, perpetuating our dependence on dirty energy. And on the other hand, the administration has made legitimate and very substantive investments in clean energy and are helping to reduce our dependence on oil by increasing vehicle efficiency. We need to stop doing all of these things that extend our dependence and increase the pace by which we're investing in clean energy. The fact that anybody in Congress or in the White House would be advocating for an expansion of oil drilling at a time when we've had the worst disaster in American history, the worst environmental disaster in American history, when we're poisoning an entire coastline, is an outrage. It's ridiculous. But what we need to do is we need to find a way to cobble together the votes to give enough assurance that we can meet our continuing energy demands, which we can do, while also investing in a future that doesn't put at risk both workers and the environment.
Yet where is the call right now? Has the Sierra Club made a statement to end offshore oil drilling? Have you met with the president to say this is the moment to stop? He's clearly going in another direction.
Yeah, absolutely. The Sierra Club has been warning for years. I've just been at the Sierra Club for 3 months, but the Sierra Club has been warning for years that offshore oil drilling is risky, it's dirty, it's dangerous, it can be deadly, and sadly, we were proven to be right. So we have called on Congress, and we're working with senators on a permanent moratorium on the expansion of offshore oil drilling. We've met with White House officials advocating for the same thing, and a permanent moratorium on offshore oil drilling. We have sent letters, we've made phone calls, we've had meetings with the White House. And at the same time, what we're also calling for is a more comprehensive, bold plan to move beyond oil in the next 20 years. You can go to the Sierra Club website or go to a satellite site, letsmovebeyondoil.org, and find out how you can get involved and to call on the president to make a stronger, bolder, clear, unequivocal statement that we need to move beyond oil and coal in the next 20 years. Over the last several years, the Sierra Club has been working to stop the construction of new coal-fired power plants. With a lot of grassroots partners around the country, we've defeated 129 new coal plants that have been proposed in just the last few years. Now our challenge is not just to slow the rate at which things get worse, but to create that ecological U-turn and start to shut the dirtiest, oldest coal plants down and replace them with clean energy. So we have a plan to get off both oil and coal within this generation, but it's going to take the help of millions of people to actually make it happen.
Michael Brune, I want to thank you for being with us, the new executive director of the Sierra Club. His book, Coming Clean, Breaking America's Addiction to Oil and Coal. Monique, thanks for being with us from New Orleans. Monique Harden, attorney and co-director of Advocates for Environmental Human Rights. And Amory Lovins from Old Snowmass, co-founder, chair, and chief scientist of the Rocky Mountain Institute in Colorado.